Hello friends, welcome to another video of watercolor tutorials. In this tutorial, we will be making this watercolor landscapes. So let us make a loose or a light drawing of this particular scene, and as you can see from the finished image, we have a house on the left side, okay, and I'm not giving any details for the house. It is just a small piece of roof and two walls scene. It is just you can treat it as a geometrical shape. And behind the house, let us have some foliages. It's not a complicated scene. Maybe another small house at a distance. Okay. And if you ask me why I'm drawing the house this way, I don't have any idea. It is just whatever comes to my mind. I'm just trying to draw it. Okay. So it's a way of just practicing your dynamic thoughts. Maybe a figure here. Okay, and there may be a couple of figures. I think we need another figure here. It should be smaller because it is slightly farther. And what else we need? Okay, a small window here, because that wall is facing us and we should have some element on the wall. Okay, we'll try to make that wall little interesting while painting. And whatever is at the distance, we are just suggesting some foliages maybe, right? So as the painting approach, we are wetting the paper, and I'm planning to do the background in a wet on wet approach. Okay, maybe I'll wet the top portion of the sky area. I will be wetting, and I'll be leaving the houses dry because I need some contrast and some sharp colors for the houses. And for the sky, I'm just applying some maybe milky consistency of cerulean blue. And the paper is wet, so it should be spreading and it should be creating some soft edges. I'm using a flat brush here, flat synthetic brush, maybe 1.5 inch. The paper that I'm using is a cold pressed watercolor paper, an Indian brand, and the thickness of the paper is 270 GSM. The size of the paper is quarter sheet, which is 11 by 15 inch. Okay. So let us make the foliages. The colors that I am using for the foliages are a mix of olive green and maybe a little bit of blue and burnt sienna. Okay. And we are suggesting most of the backgrounds with wet on wet approach. Okay, as it goes further away, the mix that I am applying is more lighter, maybe more watery, right? And, so that we get some color perspective for the distances. Okay. Right. I'm trying to create a sharp edge for the house so that we get some contrast and interest for the houses. Okay. And for the land, I am using mostly a rose sienna and a touch of orange, little watery mix of rose sienna and orange. And as I come down, I am using little bit of a burnt sienna also. So, little bit of burnt sienna and violet for the darker patches. I hope you're enjoying these kind of videos, you're finding it useful, and if you're finding it useful, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell notification icon so that you get notified when I release new video. Okay, I think we are done with the background and even the foreground, the initial wash for the foreground. And for the main wall of the house, we need some interest. So I am making it little warmer, and I am allowing a couple of colors to mix on the wall so that that may be looking more interesting. Okay, I am using raw sienna and orange, burnt sienna. All these colors I am mixing, maybe a touch of blue as well to make some area darker. Similarly, the wall of the far end house, I'm just washing it lightly, and I'm not doing a flat wash here because I wanted some kind of a feeling, a kind of a texture on the wall. So if it is very flat wash, we may not find it very interesting. And for the roof, I am going for crimson lake and maybe a little bit of orange. Okay, and I am doing this I'm doing the coloring for the roof and the walls once the background was dry. So I forgot to mention that the background was dry when I started working on the houses. Okay, so please ensure that the background is dry when you touch the house. Okay, little bit of softening here and there. It is a good idea to go for both hard and soft edges. Some darker tone for the side wall so that it gets a feeling of form. That means we are getting the form visible by making darker tone on the side wall. Okay, so the color that I am using for the main house is again burnt sienna, orange, and maybe a little bit of blue. I wanted a little bit more focus or contrast on the main house, the front house. So I am doing little bit of decoration on that house by giving stronger and vibrant colors. And for the far end house, I'll be making lighter colors, maybe more bluish colors, etc. Little bit of shadows. Okay. And some accents to the under roof area, and that will be casting some shadow on the wall. I am using some very warm colors for the shadow to get some additional interest, some visual impact there. Okay. Okay, I think the overall shape of the house is okay now. It is more visible. Yeah, I know the roof doesn't look perfect, but that's okay. Some poles or some accents, some details at the side wall. See, we don't have any reference for this, so whatever I think is appropriate, I'm going with my instinct and I'm doing it. So it's a good way of practicing that you follow your impulse, or you follow the idea that dynamically pops into your mind, so that over a period of time you will keep getting more and more ideas, and you will be finally ending up with unique piece of artwork. Okay, some interest on the wall. Okay, so some darkness, some warmer tones. The idea is just to create some interest. There is no specific other objective for that. Yeah. So I am using a soft round brush for this. I think the brush that I am using now is a Chinese calligraphy type brush, but any brush will be good enough. I think that is not good. I am lifting it out. So you have an opportunity to lift out the colors, and there is a small window within which you can lift out the colors. Maybe some additional foliages for a taller tree here. I'm using mainly olive green and burnt sienna, maybe a touch of blue, and I'm going for some tonal variations also. I'm using the side of the brush to get some random shape, and it is not a precise depiction of trees, but it is just a casual approach, but reasonably that resembles a tree. Okay, I think that's it. That much. I mean, it shouldn't be taller. Little bit of splashings of colors to get some texture. Okay, you should be careful if you do it casually. It might spill all across the paper. The splashes may fall on unwanted areas, and some foliages on the background also behind the house. Okay. Right. I think that is sufficient. Okay. Some lighter color foliage on the far end. Okay. And I'm not very. I don't want much precision here because this is not very important. But we need to have something. Okay. It is not the precise shape. I don't think the precise shape is important, but we need to have some suggestion there. And those far end foliages should somehow connect to the near end foliage. These kind of decisions are something that you will keep getting when you practice. Okay. I think we are pretty much done with the background. Some sprinkling of water to create some texture, because the foliages are still not dry, and some kind of branches seen through can be suggested using a narrow brush. So I'm using a liner brush here, okay, synthetic liner brush, and the paint consistency is more thicker. Okay, it is not very watery. It is probably creamy consistency paint, and a smaller long brush. I'm changing the brush to another smaller brush, maybe number 4 or so, synthetic round brush, and I am making some vertical branches, and we'll be adding foliages on top of it. This is just to make some interest, okay, just to engage the background with some elements. Again, some random works. Okay. And this video is 1.5 times faster, so the actual painting speed is 1.5 times slower. Okay, right, I think we are done with the foliages. We don't have to do it too much. Okay, we don't have to do it too much, and the flat foreground doesn't look good, so I'm just creating some warmer texture on the ground. Okay, and just trying out various things like some splashes, see what we want is some kind of a texture to get rid of the blank plain look of the foreground. Okay, so maybe you can smudge it with a tissue paper. Okay, and I think we need something similar kind of a texture on the right side as well. So let us do something on the right side as well. We are using some slightly darker tones. Okay, so that I wanted to have an illusion of some road in between. Some windows. Okay, that is just for adding some additional contrast and to get some more interest on the wall. Basically it is done to grab more attention on that area. That could be one of the prime area or the focal area or focal element of the painting. And now it is all giving touches to make it slightly prettier. Okay, I think that is sufficient for the far end house and both the houses. In fact, maybe we need some shadows on the tiles of the first house. We'll do it later. And maybe a figure here. It's very tiny, very dark, and here the main figure, let us try and suggest some female figure wearing a sari. Okay, it is not very accurate. I am not happy with this, but it is very suggestive, and I think that is okay. We can manage. Okay. See, these figures are not really very what I would say, not very precise, but when everything is finished, I am hopeful that it will look convincing. I think I'll leave it at this point and go for another one. This figure is slightly farther away and it is smaller because of the distance. And I think, yeah, that's it. We don't need too much details. There could be a small figure here also. It is not very prominent, so I'm just using some darker colors. Some shadows on top of the tile or top of the roof, because there is a tree above, and some of the foliages may be casting shadows on the roof. Some shadows. These shadows they give very strong contrast and interest. I think we are pretty much done. We are giving some highlight with white watercolors, and the paint is taken directly from the tube, and very little bit of a touch is applied so that these tiny figures are popped up. They do pop up and create some interest. I think we are done and we can finish it by signing it. Hope you found it informative and you could find something to learn in this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already, and press the bell notification icon. If you have any suggestions or comments, please do let me know in the comment box, and I will try to get back to you as early as possible. Thank you very much. Bye.